This video is sponsored by PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be showcasing Scovillain EX from the Surging Sparks expansion set. Don't underestimate it because this Pokemon can deal some serious damage. At its base, this Pokemon is a fire type, that's why it has weakness to water. However, it has the ability Double type. As long as this Pokemon is in play, it counts as both a fire and a grass type. Having the second typing can be beneficial, especially when you can hit for weakness against opponents like Charizard EX. And what makes Scovillain EX even more awesome is its attack, Spicy Rage. For 2 fire energies, this attack deals 10 plus base damage. However, for each damage counter on this Pokemon, you can add 70 more damage to your attack. So if this has 50 damage on it, you can attack for as much as 360 damage, which pretty much knocks out any Pokemon in the game. So really, the more Scovillain takes a hit, you can even see damage into the thousands, which is incredible. There are a few ways you can put damage counters on Scovillain EX. Of course, the most obvious is if you just tank a hit from your opponent's attacks. This is why I also added a 1/1 line of this Kricketune with a Swelling Tune ability, which adds 40 more HP to all of your grass-type Pokemon excluding this Kricketune. And thanks to Scovillain EX's ability allowing it to be a grass type, this ability will add 40 more HP to it, allowing it to reach up to 300 HP. Additionally, I've also added a copy of Rigid Band, making it harder for your opponent to knock out Scovillain EX even if it has some damage on it already. This tool card basically makes your stage 1 Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks. Another way you can put damage counters on Scovillain EX is with the help of Magma Basin Stadium. Once during your turn, you can accelerate a basic fire energy from your discard pile to one of your bench fire Pokemon, after which you put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. And then I also have the Calamitous Snowy Mountain Stadium. Each time you attach an energy from your hand to one of your basic Pokemon that is not water type, you put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. And I also have a couple of damage pumps in this deck. You can use this item card to transfer up to 2 damage from one of your Pokemon to your other Pokemon in any way you like. This is a great way for putting more damage to Scovillain EX so that you can get a higher damage output when necessary. Providing 2 fire energies to power up Scovillain EX's attack can be quite tricky sometimes, which is why I also have a 2/2 line of Armor Rouge in this deck with a fire off ability. As often as you like, you can transfer fire energies from your benched Pokemon to your active Pokemon. And I also have a copy of EXP Share Tool card so that each time your active Pokemon is knocked out, you can just transfer 1 basic energy from that Pokemon to the Pokemon with this tool card equipped. This way you can just keep transferring those fire energies to your active Pokemon with Armor Rouge. As a secondary attacker, I have Radiant Charizard so that you can use it late game. It has the Excited Heart ability, which reduces its attack cost by 1 colorless energy for each prize card your opponent has already taken, so you may even be able to use its attack for just a single fire energy attachment. And its attack Combustion Blast deals 250 damage, and sometimes that's all you need to take out a 2-prizer, while you only lose 1 prize if this Charizard is knocked out. And I did add a copy of this Scovillain EX in the deck, and the reason for that is to give you an alternative win condition. First is by trapping your opponent's active Pokemon with this first attack, Chili Snapper Bind. Perhaps you can deck out your opponent while preventing them from retreating their Pokemon, and you can even stall with this attack because it only costs a colorless energy. And its second attack is Two-Headed Crushing, which deals 140 damage. The damage output is actually pretty significant because it's enough to one-hit knockout Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. Since majority of our Pokemon have abilities on them, your opponent can just instantly win if you can't get through its ability, where it prevents attack damage from Pokemon with abilities on them. Thankfully, this Scovillain EX does not have any abilities, and it's also hitting for weakness against Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. And not only that, this attack also has an added disruption effect, where it randomly discards 1 card from your opponent's hand and 1 card from the top of your opponent's deck. I did add a copy of Luminous Energy in this deck, as well as a couple of Grass Energies so that we can attack with the other Scovillain EX. As for my E-Spec card, I'm using Hyper Aroma, which allows you to search your deck for up to 3 Stage 1 evolution cards. This is great for instantaneously evolving a few of your Pokemon in a single turn. As an alternative, I thought of using Survival Brace tool card. As long as you have full HP and if your opponent's Pokemon will one-hit KO your Pokemon, instead of being knocked out, it will survive the attack and it will be left with 10 HP remaining. I just thought this would give the most damage output because 290 damage on Scovillain EX, you're looking at dealing 2040 damage. And just as an experiment, you can even use Heroescape, which will give Scovillain EX 400 HP. And at maximum, you can even deal as much as 2,740 damage, which is pretty much overkill. But of course, in today's standards, you don't really need that much damage. so I would just go with Hyper Aroma so that this deck will be a little bit more consistent. I gotta say, this Scovillain EX is very fun to play. It's very satisfying to see those insanely high amounts of damage when you can pull them off. But unfortunately, going against S tier and A tier builds, this deck just cannot compare. There's just a little too much stuff you have to set up with this deck before you can make Scovillain EX's mechanic work, but that's just me. Overall though, I'm very happy with this build, but what about you guys? Do let me know in the comments what changes you would make to this build to make it work. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. Now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Scovillain EX. Before we get into the video, I have a small request. If you're liking the content I create, please leave a like to this video, and please support this channel by subscribing if you haven't already. This is a small click for you, but for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support. Alright, on to our first match. Looks like we'll have to mulligan here. And so will my opponent, alright. And we're gonna start with a Charcadet in the active spot. And we're going against Dragapult EX. Alright. Very tough matchup, but winnable. If we can evolve into Scovillain EX, it can survive an attack at 200 damage. We should be fine. And with a 6 damage counter spread, majority of our basic Pokemon, including our Capsikids, have 70 HP. So we should be able to survive those damage counter spread. For the meantime, my opponent has 2 Dreepies in play, 1 Duskull, and a Rotom V, and they attach a Fire Energy to their active Dreepy. And then they will end their turn with Instant Charge, drawing 3 cards. My opponent has the potential to be able to evolve into Dragapult EX next turn, so we need another few basic Pokemon on our bench. We're just gonna use Professor's Research because we have no choice. Thankfully, we got Buddy Buddy Poffin. And I'm going to set up 2 Capsikids. And that should be able to survive damage counter spread. And then I need to draw more cards. So I might as well just sacrifice Cleffa. Attach this EXP share. That way I can reduce my hand size, draw more cards. And then I'll just use Super Rod to get Cricketune back. That will add HP to our Scovillain. And then I'll leave 2 Fire Energies so we can use Magma Basin Stadium later on. And I'm just gonna Grasping Draw to draw 4. Got another few basic energies and an Arven. So let's see here. My opponent will use Lost Vacuum. They're probably gonna go for the Magma Basin, but they took out Dusknoir. Okay, they will not have access to that Dusknoir anymore. I can evolve into Scovillain next turn. Thankfully, we got Hyper Aroma and then also an Armarouge. So if they manage to evolve into a Dragapult EX here, all of our bench Pokemon should be able to survive. But then again, they have Dusclops. They could take out Cleffa with Dusclops and then take out another Pokemon, whatever we put in the active. But with Arven, they got Rare Candy, they have Forest Sealstone, and I'm pretty sure they have what they need here to set up a Dragapult EX. There's the Psychic Energy, Rare Candy into Dragapult EX. And there it is, guys. That's why you should never underestimate Dragapult EX. And they're gonna go for the Cursed Blast ability, knocking out Dusclops. That will give up 1 prize, so we get 1. And then, let's see what we got here. We got Boss Orders, alright. And they put the 5 damage counters on our Charcadet. And you know, what I've noticed, since there is actually a Ceruledge EX in Surging Sparks, a lot of players are pretty scared of Charcadets. So, for the most part, having it in the deck confuses my opponent most of the time, and they go for Charcadet as their priority in terms of targets. And that actually helps for Scovillain EX lineup to survive more attacks. But they took out our Charcadet as well as our Cleffa, giving my opponent 2 prizes. And we got another Charcadet from our draw, which is pretty awesome. And I think we'll have to evolve into our Scovillans this turn, because otherwise we're just gonna lose another lineup of Capsikids. Alright, we still have a bunch of stadiums. I'm gonna go for 2 Scovillain EX. And then an Armor Rouge for next turn. But I don't know if we can fully energize our active here. I have to evolve my bench Pokemon. I could use Magma Basin, attach an energy, but what I could do is use Arven to get a switch into the active, but at 2 damage, well, 4 damage counters now. We're only hitting for 290 HP, not quite enough to knock out their Dragapult EX. So we could either use Arven to switch out into the active, or I could stall with boss orders. Maybe at 4 cards in their hand, maybe they don't have any energy to retreat. Yeah, they might go for boss orders. Just stall for a little bit, and then might as well just evolve into Scovillain EX. Yeah, I'm just gonna end my turn here, I think. So next turn, I could even transfer energies from my bench to the active Scovillain, but they're going to Iono. Alright. Alright, we lose the Armor Rouge, but we did get a Kricketot though. They probably have the energy here, and then if they attack Scovillain EX, we will survive an attack. No, they're just gonna instant charge. Alright, cool. So my opponent missed out on that energy. Might as well put Kricketot in the bench, as well as Radiant Charizard. I could even use Magma Basin to put damage as well as an energy to Radiant Charizard. And then I could use damage pump, because at 2 damage counters on our active, it's not even enough to knock out Rotom V. We're only hitting for 150. So we need at least 1 more damage counters so that we can hit for at least 220 to knock out Rotom V. So I'm going to use damage pump now. Just put 1 to my bench. So at 5 damage counters, we can hit for 360. And that can 1-hit knock out their Dragapult EX. And then the 1 extra damage should now be able to knock out their Rotom V. I'm going to use Iono. We can still draw 5 here. Again, they gave up 1 card with Dusclops, but we got our Armor Rouge, and you know what, guys? We got counter catchers, so what I'm gonna do actually is just knock out their Dragapult EX. We have the firepower, and we could just, yeah, gust it into the active, fire off the energy from Radiant Charizard, and then I'm gonna retreat this Scovillain. And then we can knock out their Dragapult EX. I'll set up 1 more Capsakid just in case. And yeah, Spicy Rage, there it is. 360 damage to knock out their Dragapult EX. Not too bad, alright. Well, the stall definitely helped out to give us more time to put more damage to our Scovillain, increasing its attack damage output. But with that 5 damage counters, even if they attack for 200, Scovillain EX should still be able to survive, unless my opponent gives up another prize to put damage counters using Dusclops. So it's really up to my opponent. They do have that potential to evolve into another Dragapult EX. They have not used the Sparkling Crystal yet, so with just 1 energy attachment, they could still attack here. But no, they're gonna use Iono. Despite Pheasantipede EX's 3 extra draw, they could not find the components they need to fully evolve here. But maybe they have it now. I don't know. We'll see. No, they evolve into Dracloak. Okay. Thankfully, we did draw into Professor's Research, so even their Iono was not able to disrupt our hand. So we're still good. We are in a good position. I could even get Cricketune to increase our HP even more. And my opponent has Thornton. Alright, interesting. But my opponent's probably just gonna retreat their Dracloak into Duskull. And then they just have to figure out how to evolve into a Dragapult EX. But never underestimate your opponent, right? They still have that potential to get multiple prizes, especially Kricketot has 60 HP. They're gonna bump out my Magma Basin though. And they're just gonna end their turn with instant charge again. And they left their Dracloak in the open. Okay, let's go ahead and get our Kricketot and increase our Grass Pokemon HP by 40. There it is, guys, 300 HP. And we got Professor's Research to get us more cards here. I'll discard these two. I'll set up this Scovillain EX. We can stall with it if we need to, or even disrupt their hand or their cards while we have Luminous Energy available to us. And yeah, we're just gonna Spicy Rage, knock out their Dracloak for another prize. Slowly but surely we are taking the prizes, and it's just a matter of time. And really, with that 5 damage counters, we can pretty much one-hit knock out anything. And with added HP, it becomes even worse for my opponent. We still have 1 damage pump available to us, so even if they try to stall, we just transfer those damage counters. They still have a bunch of rare candies in the deck for sure. So they can evolve into Dragapult EX. They can evolve into Dusknoir, but one is in the Lost Zone. And I'm not sure how many lineup or how many cards they have of the Dusknoir lineup in this deck. But there is still that potential to be able to get multiple prizes. There's the rare candy. There's the Dragapult EX. There's the energy. They just need that sparkling crystal. There it is. Yep. 1 energy less. But they're gonna concede! And there you have it, guys. GG's. Alright, moving on to our next match. We got a bunch of basic Pokemon. We got Clefairy into the active spot. We got Capsakid, Charcadet, Calamitous Snowy Mountain, Arven. Pretty good opening hand. One thing about Calamitous Snowy Mountain though, guys, you have to remember that it only affects basic Pokemon. So don't evolve into Scovillain EX before you attach an energy so you can get that damage counter. So my opponent's using Iron Thorns EX, alright. They also have Phoebus on their bench. I have Ultra Ball, but I really don't want to discard any of my cards, and I can't use any attacks on my first turn, so I'm just gonna end my turn here, give it to my opponent. See how it goes. So Iron Thorns EX's ability doesn't really affect us that much. We're still hitting for a lot of damage. We just need those damage counters on Scovillain. And it doesn't really matter whether we're fire or grass. We're neutral against this matchup, but they do have Mimikyu. We could take care of Mimikyu using Armor Rouge, so we're good with that. But I think this Phoebus evolves into Milotic. So they're using TM Evolution. They're probably going to evolve those two. But no, they whiff it. They didn't get any evolution. Maybe they're prized. I don't know. So now it's our turn. We got an Armor Rouge from our draw. I'm going to use Arven for now. Get those energies out here. And Hyper Aroma sounds good too, but yeah, we need energies. That's our priority. Anyways, we need those damage counters to our Capsakid, so we're just going to evolve into Armor Rouge, put the Rigid Band, discard this Ultra Ball to get fire energies. And then before we attach, we put Calamitous Snowy Mountain in play, so when we attach, we get the 2 damage counters to Capsakid. And then we're just gonna Grasping Draw to draw 4. I doubt my opponent can attack this turn because they need 2 energies. Unless they have double turbo energy. Okay, they have Crispin. So if they have 2 different types of energies in their deck, they can put one in their hand and then the second they can attach. there's the Dark. They attach a water energy and they completely charged up Iron Thorn's EX to be able to attack. And they're gonna use Volt Cyclone to knock out our Cleffa. So we have Ultra Ball. And our Calamitous Snowy Mountain was not removed, so that's good. I could put Capsicid in the active, evolve it after we attach the energy. And at 4 damage counters, we should be able to hit for 290. So we can knock out this Iron Thorn's EX. So let's attach this Luminous Energy. And with the Luminous Energy, you can just transfer that with Armarouge as well. So it counts as Grass Energy as well. As long as you don't mix it with another special energy. And I'm gonna set up another Capsicid and also Kricketot. Discard these two for a Scovillain EX. There it is, guys. Scovillain EX. Can use Spicy Rage for 290 damage to one-hit knock out their Iron Thorn's EX, getting us our first 2 prizes. All right. Very nice. So you can see here at turn 2, can deal a lot of damage. Now we have to face off against this Mimikyu. Calamitous Snowy Mountain takes into effect, so we only need to deal with 50 HP. We're gonna Ionos as well. And oh, okay, Cornerstone Ogerpon EX, one of the worst. Hey, we got Canceling Cologne. Yeah, let's just use it. Take out this Mimikyu. 290. Bye-bye. Alright, we got another prize for that. So the whole strategy for our opponent's build is basically to block off any attackers. So any Pokemon with abilities Cornerstone Ogerpon EX cannot be damaged by attacks. Okay, they also have Counter Gain, which give them an extra energy. I doubt they can attack with this Ogerpon, so we should be able to survive. But Scovillain EX will not be able to damage it. That's the thing. We only have one Canceling Cologne in this deck, but I do have a counter because I've already encountered this type of matchup before. And I just lose badly because I could not attack their Ogerpon EX. But we do need that Grass Scovillain with no abilities. And then we can hit for weakness against this Ogerpon. And then we need to preserve that Luminous Energy as well. I'm going to go ahead and use Super Rod to recover these two. That will help shuffle our deck as well. And we need a supporter card here to draw into more cards. So we need Grass Energy to attack. We have the Luminous Energy. So I have 2 Grass Energies to ensure that we will be able to attack with our Grass Scovillain EX. And even if they manage to evolve into Milotic EX, I think that's the one that negates attacks from Terra Pokemon. So we are unaffected by that because Scovillain EX is not a Terra Pokemon. So we should be safe. But it is a water type. Scovillain EX is a fire, so we could lose this in that sense if they manage to evolve into Milotic. So they probably get an attack in here because Counter Gain is in effect. We have more prizes than we have taken more prizes than our opponent. But I need to stall out here. I guess I have to evolve into Scovillain EX. I have no other choice, otherwise I'll lose the Luminous Energy. And my opponent will take a knockout. I'm counting on our RNG to get us our Support a card, otherwise we're a goner here. I guess I could. Yeah, I don't know what else to do here. I'll transfer damage. End my turn. Yeah, we have enough damage counters on our benched Scovillain anyway, so putting the damage in the active also puts it in my opponent's mindset that, you know, it's also a potential target, and they don't boss my benched Scovillain to make it survive. But slowly but surely they are energizing their Feebas. 140 damage goes into our other Scovillain EX in the active. Hey, we got an Arvin. Okay. Arvin, what can you do for us? Buddy Poffin. We got our Cleffa. Okay, we need Cleffa out here. Cleffa, I need you. And we got our Grass Scovillain. And we have one Grass Energy available. Alright. Get EXP share. Preserve our Fire Energy if we need it. So this is the problem, okay? This is the problem. I need Capsakid, Cleffa, and then I can fire off another Fire Energy so that I can retreat. And then just gonna Grasping Draw. Come on, Cleffa. Alright, we got Scovillain EX. We are one card away from being able to knock out this Ogre Pawn, which is pretty annoying. This it's an instant knockout or instant win for any Ogre Pawn. So if you built a deck that doesn't have any of these things to counter Ogre Pawn, they just instantly win. But thankfully we have what we need here. Let's evolve into our Scovillain EX with no ability. Come on, give me Grass Energy. And we whiffed it. Ugh. Okay. Alright, let's fire off this Luminous Energy. We should still be able to survive an attack here. Attach an energy. And then Chili Snapper Bind. Traps my opponent in the active, but it does burn it. They flip a coin in between Pokemon checkup. If it's heads, they remove the fire or the burn special condition. There it is. There's the Milotic EX. Prevent all damage from effects from Terra Pokemon. So, they will boss my Scovillain. Demolish it. Knocking it out. Getting 2 prizes. We need that Grass Energy. I only have 1. Yeah, we already used up Earthen Vessel, so I really can't search it. But I have no choice. Got Counter Catcher. I need an energy attachment for the turn as well. I can draw 3 with Iono. Survive a hit with Scovillain if I don't draw into it. Man, I have the perfect counter, but I need the energy. I could stall, I guess, with Charizard. Okay. Put this in the active. 160. 160. Come on, Iono. Iono. Okay, we got Magma Basin. We can put off another energy. I can preserve the Luminous Energy. And then attack with Radiant Charizard for a single energy. Because my opponent has already taken 4 prizes. So, yeah, 4 colorless less. And we should be fine. Alright, let's go ahead and attach that to our Radiant Charizard fire off 2 energies into our Scovillain in the active so we can retreat. And then we can hit this Milotic EX with Charizard, Radiant Charizard. Combustion Blast. 250! Man. We're 2 damage away from knocking it out, but that's what we got, you know? Hopefully my opponent does not have a boss orders. Got a lot of crisp spin in this deck though. They have a lot of different types of energies. Night Stretcher can recover 1 Pokemon or 1 energy. Either or. 320 for weakness and sleep condition. Okay, we can preserve that fire energy. Yeah, this matchup is not giving us an easy win. We got Professor's Research. Okay. Professor's Research. You know what? I'll just put an energy. I'll take care of this Milotic with our Scovillain EX. There's the grass energy. Okay. Just as long as my opponent does not disrupt my hand, we should be fine. I'll get Cricket Tune. Might as well get... You know what? No. We're just gonna get Cricket Tune because we don't really have a lot of cards in the deck. Just evolve this to increase our HP. That will increase our survivability, maybe. And then we're gonna Chili Snapper Bind to burn Milotic EX, knocking it out, getting us 2 more prizes. And then we're left with this Ogerpon EX. So if they have a boss orders, we're done. They can knock out any of our bench Pokemon. At 140, they can knock out our Scovillain. No, they're just gonna attack our active for 140 damage. But you know what? Guess what, guys? We have the grass energy. We're gonna finish this off with 2-headed crushing to knock it out. Discarding a bunch of cards. And then, there you have it. That's why I have Scovillain EX in this deck, the grass one. Especially against that matchup. That was a tough match to win, but we got it. Good game. Alright, moving on to our next match. We got Charcadet to go into the active spot. And no other way to set up other basic Pokemon. Hopefully we can get a basic Pokemon with this Hisuian Heavy Ball. Otherwise, if my opponent can attack on their first turn going second, we're pretty much done for. Let's see here. Thankfully, we got Capsakid. Our Hyper Aroma is prized, so we gotta keep that in mind. I'll just attach a Fire Energy and end my turn. So my opponent will start with the Pheasantipede EX in their active spot. Iron Thorns EX, Latias EX to give free retreats to all basic Pokemon on their board. Raichu V. And we're going to use Iono. Alright, that does help us out a little bit. Hopefully we can get more basic Pokemon out here. Alright, another Capsakid, Buddy Poffin, and Cleffa. Perfect. Perfect. Then it's just a matter of being able to choose which one of these stadiums is best for our turn. They will retreat their Pheasantipede into Latias EX. Okay. Let's put these 2 into play. I guess I could use Calamitous Snowy Mountain. Attach this energy to get 2 damage counters. I will have to sacrifice Magma Basin though, so we can use Professor's Research. But then again, I could just use Cleffa. Now let's go ahead and get another Charcadet in play. But definitely Kricketot. Yeah, let's get these 2 out. And then we're gonna use Grasping Draw. I wanna save up my Magma Basin. I feel like I need it. So one of the reasons why I set up 2 Charcadet lineups, because again, the new Surging Sparks expansion has Cerulege EX. A lot of the time, they think this is what this deck is. So my opponent usually just targets Charcadet. And then when they knock it out, it's hard for me to transfer those fire energies to fully power up my Scovillain EX. So having 2 in play can sometimes be a defensive move so that you can ensure that your opponent doesn't take out your Armor Rouge lineup. They will discard their Iron Bundle, but we're just gonna have them knock out our Charcadets. So at least we have 1 to survive. That should be fine. Because I need at least 2 lineups of attacker. I need Kricketot to add HP, Armor Rouge to transfer energies, and then Cleffa to draw more energy, to draw more cards if we need to. So my opponent will take out our Charcadet with their Raichu. Okay, we got another Capsakid. I could just use Iono instead. Could take out... I mean... I need an energy and a Scovillain EX. Let me put Magma Basin in play. And then I could just use Iono. I'm still drawing 6, so there's no need for me to use Professor's Research to discard all of those useful cards. Alright, we whiffed the Scovillain EX. I'm gonna use Magma Basin just in case my opponent tries to take it out. I could use Damage Pump to put those damage counters and still be able to knock out their basic 2-prizer. We go ahead and set this Capsakid up just in case they target the other one. And I'm gonna use Grasping Draw once more. And there it is, we got our Scovillain. Can now evolve next turn, attack for at least 150 damage. And then I could use Arven to get another damage bump. I only have 2 in this deck. I wanted to put more, but consistency. Because when you have a starting hand and all of them are just damage pumps and you don't have any supporter cards, that's when your game ends. But my opponent uses Lost Vacuum to take out our Magma Basin Stadium. They're going to use Boss Orders to target our Capsakid with the energy. I think they're onto us, guys. But with no cards left, they're going to put Raikou V in the active, but they didn't get another energy, so they don't even get a knockout. Alright, I'm okay with that. We're gonna evolve into our Scovillain EX, use Arven to get damage pump, get Rigid Band to make it more difficult for my opponent to knock out our Scovillain, and with 4 damage counters to our active, we're hitting for 290. More than enough to knock out this Raikou V, and we got the energy that we need. Alright. Then what I'm gonna do is actually counter capture this Pheasantipede EX. The reason for that is if they don't have an energy in their hand, knowing that that card they drew with Raikou EX or Raikou V is not an energy, they could get trapped. They could just try and draw with another ability of Raikou V and still not get any energy and still not be able to attack. So fleet-footed, did they get the energy? Okay, they're gonna use Tandem Unit first. Basic Lightning Pokemon to their bench, and they have Pikachu EX. Area 0 under depths to expand their bench because they have Pikachu, and there's the energy. And they're gonna use Lightning Rondo, hitting for 190. Alright. 190. So we survived the attack. We could have actually been knocked out if it wasn't for that Rigid Band, right? Because that's 30 less damage. If they hit for 190, we could have died. But yeah, Rigid Band is so awesome in this deck. I think it's really great. I'm gonna use Switch actually to just transfer those energies. I hope we get an Armor Rouge with this Professor's Research. There it is, guys. Armor Rouge comes into play. Can transfer those energies. My opponent has only taken 1 prize, so we need 2 more energies. I'm gonna go all out and just transfer these 2. Leave 1 to our Scovillain. And then 250 to knock out their Raikou to get us 2 more prizes. Alright, not too bad. And even if they manage to knock out Radiant Charizard, they only take 1 prize. So we are looking good. We are looking good. We got Hyper Aroma, Ultra Ball to get our Cricket Tune. Add more HP to our Scovillain. And alright, they're just stalling out. They don't have any cards in their hand. Man, my opponent is breaking so horribly. And we got Magma Basin to even throw off their Area 0 Under Depths. And it's gonna force them to discard at least 1 Pokemon from their bench. But let's go ahead and use Hyper Aroma first. I'm gonna get Scovillain and Cricket Tune. Okay. You can use Magma Basin. Let me go ahead and discard these 2. Okay. So Radiant Charizard can't attack 2 turns in a row. We push out, bump out their Area 0 Under Depths. We can retreat our Radiant Charizard because we can't attack in 2 consecutive turns. And then what I'm gonna do is attack with this Scovillain EX. Because Pikachu EX, this Terra Pokemon has the ability that endures a 1-hit knockout, right? So I'm just gonna chip damage it with 150. So they can't stall out with it anymore. My opponent still needs 5 prizes to go. So whatever they put in the active, unless it's a single prize, we can just knock it out and then win this game. But they have boss orders though. We target our Scovillain. And because Latias EX is in play, they have free retreats. And they will attack with Raichu V. 40? Wait, why only 4? No. Did they miscalculate? We have a Rigid Band. And there it is, guys. Our opponent concedes. Good game. On to our final match. I had to take 3 mulligans there. But now we're going to start with 3 basic Pokemon. 1 Charcadet in the active. And then got Capsakid and another Charcadet on the bench. My opponent will take 3 extra cards from their deck because of our mulligans. And our opening hand looks pretty horrible here. Okay, Duskull and Rotom V. We got Buddy Buddy Poffin. Let's go ahead and set up Kricketot and Capsakid. And oh, you know what? I should have just gotten Cleffa. Oh man, okay. I'll just attach the Grass Energy and my turn. Yeah, I don't have any supporter cards in my hand to draw cards, so I should have gotten that Cleffa. Man, I apologize for making such a bad decision early on in this match. Well, what's this? My opponent uses Nest Ball to get Dino out. We are going against Hydreigon EX from the new Surging Sparks expansion set. And they're gonna end their turn with Instant Charge. Alright. Now it's our turn. If you didn't know, Hydreigon EX is very infamous for taking multiple knockouts, so we need Manaphy in this match. With Earthen Vessel, I might as well get Grass Energy and the Fire Energy. And I can use Hyper Aroma just to get Scovillain EX, the Grass one, Cricketune, and Armor Rouge. So I need to retreat my active Charcadet. And then what I could do is just stall against this Duskull, keep it in the active while we take maybe one more turn at least before we can attach the other grass energy to our Scovillain EX. So I'm just gonna use my first attack to prevent my opponent's Duskull from retreating, burning it as well. But then again, they could just evolve it into Dusclops, removing that effect of our attack. They can retreat it or just make Dusclops explode. So hopefully we can stall here, but no, that's not gonna happen because they have Petarant EX with the Subjugating Chains ability, which allows it to switch one of their dark type Pokemon from their bench to the active spots. So it doesn't really matter if we can trap. And they also have the energy, rare candy, and there it is, Hydreigon EX finally emerges from the depths, and it can attack for 200 damage. It requires 4 energies to do that 3 target for 130. And majority of our Pokemon are susceptible to be knocked out by that attack, but thankfully they're not fully energized yet. So I'm only counting on 200 damage here, but they have a boss orders. They're gonna target our Charcadet for some reason. They're probably in fear of Cerulege, but we don't. I actually thought of adding Cerulege in this deck, but with the limited amount of energies we have in this deck, it just didn't work out, so I took it out. So yeah, we're just working with the regular Armor Rouge. But Hydreigon EX's attack is pretty tough too. Deals 200 damage and then it discards 3 cards from the top of their opponent's deck. So yeah, they're milling us as well as killing us. So let's go ahead and attach this grass energy. At least we're hitting for weakness against Hydreigon EX. Yes, Hydreigon EX is weak against grass. And with the our second attack here, we deal 280 damage. And yeah, Two-Headed Crushing also discards 1 random card from their hand and the top card of their deck. So with that, my opponent discards a bunch of cards from their hand. With Ultra Ball, they get a Pheasantipity EX. We did not knock out anything last turn, so they're not gonna be drawing any cards here, but they will deal 200 damage. And there's the Professor's Research that we actually desperately needed to draw extra cards. Damage bump. Okay, this is not good. I guess I could transfer damage to Capsicid, and I'll just take a knockout against their Hydreigon EX. That's gonna get us 2 prizes at least. They don't have any other attackers right now, so we should be safe, hopefully. But they can just use Pheasantipity to draw 3 cards, plus the one they draw this turn, so they'll end up with 4 cards to start. Okay, Buddy Buddy Poffin for a Cleffa. Okay. And then flip the script to help them draw 3 cards for sure. And I'm still in anticipation of that Dusclops, because can come out of nowhere and just take a knockout against our Scovillain EX. They are going to use Counter Catcher though to get our Armor Rouge in the active spot, and really we can't get it out, but we have a switch in the deck. We have Arven to get it, so we are looking good actually. I'm not sure if we need Canceling Cologne in this matchup, so I'll just take it out and then get Manaphy. This is a really important card in this deck or in this matchup. And then with Arven, I'm gonna get Switch And I guess I could use Rigid Band, but it's not gonna make any difference. It could just knock out our Scovillain. I'm gonna go with Rigid Band though. Switch. And then I'm just gonna use Two-Headed Crushing again. Deal 140 to their Pheasantipity. Again, discarding 2 of their cards. And what's nice about that Two-Headed Crushing is it's random. Your opponent doesn't get to choose which one. But they have a Dark Patch. They can attach an energy to one of their Dark type Pokemon on their bench. Wow, this Hydreigon EX build is pretty versatile. Okay, they're gonna go for Petron EX. There's the Hydreigon EX, another one out to devastate us. But we can definitely take a big hit against it. Again, it's weak against grass. If we put enough damage counters to our Scovillain EX, we can deal tons of damage against it. Even with minimal damage counters. But at 2 damage counters, it's only dealing 300 damage. So we need at least 3 damage counters to our Fire Scovillain EX to deal a one-hit knockout against Hydreigon EX. They have Rescue Board though. They have Energy Attachment for turn. So they can switch their Petron EX in the active and take a knockout against our Scovillain EX. Irritated Burst deals 120. Exactly 300 damage. 300 total damage to knock out our Scovillain EX. Yeah, we've only taken 2 prizes, but it was enough to knock out our Scovillain. Just gonna put Manaphy in the active for now. Oh, Professor's Research! I will take that any day. Man, our RNG is pretty awesome. But as it is, this is not good. We'll lose Manaphy. I can use Counter Catcher. Stall. But I guess it didn't matter because Petron can just go into the active, put Pheasantipity, and then retreat. But I'll get Manaphy out of here. And then just end my turn. So as of right now, their Petron EX can deal 120, right? So a Radiant Charizard should be able to survive. Yeah. The cards we've been drawing so far, though, has not been what we needed. And they still have 4 Sealstone to use here, so with that, they can get whatever card they want from their deck. Neo Upper Energy comes out, fully energizing Hydreigon EX's first attack, dealing 200 and then discarding 3 from our top deck. So there it is, 200. And we even lost Super Rod for recovery. This is not looking good. We're hitting for weakness, but our setup is just horrible. We just... I think it was because of our poor choice. My poor choice of decision making early on in the game, but... Got Magma Basin, we can transfer that. We have Damage Pump. We can take a one-hit knockout against Hydreigon. We just need another energy and Scovillain. Come on, Professor's Research. Alright, there it is. We are saved. We got our Scovillain EX. We got Luminous Energy as fire. And then we can fire off this energy from Armor Rouge onto Scovillain. We will take a one-hit knockout against this Hydreigon EX. But then again, with enough prizes taken, they could hit for 300 with that Petron EX. So I think, to be honest with you, I'm more worried about that Petron EX than this Hydreigon. So I'm gonna go with Counter Catcher. Thankfully we got that. And I think I'm just gonna knock it out. 220, alright. Thankfully we have 3 damage counters, enough to knock out this Petron EX, getting us 2 prizes. And yeah, we are looking pretty good. If my opponent can fully evolve into Dusknoir, they can take out our Manaphy. And then Hydreigon can just snipe us, but they have to fully energize their Hydreigon EX. So they need 2 more energies. If they have Crispin, put 2 energies. They can't use Counter Gain because we are equal in prize, unless they can take out a Dusknoir, self-destruct. But even if they do that, we'll still have an even prize. So they need 2 energies for them to use that snipe attack from Hydreigon EX. But if not, we should be fine. They can stall by putting one of their single prizers in the active though. But once they do that, they can't use Dusknoir anymore. So we're in a pretty good position right now. Okay, they're gonna play Luminion V, Luminous Sign, to get a supporter card from their deck. It's an Iono. Alright, that's gonna limit their hand to 2 though. Then they can draw with Pheasantipity. They should have just used Iono, I think, and then use Pheasantipity. I wonder what they're looking for. Okay, can use Iono. Alright, we got an Iono ourselves, alright. But yeah, one of these days I'm gonna showcase Hydreigon EX as well. It's a pretty awesome Pokemon to showcase. But no, they're gonna end their turn with Grasping Draw. Okay. Got another Capsicid. Regardless, if my opponent can take out Manaphy, they can win this one. But as it is, we can take out Cleffa. They will no longer be able to use Dusclops or Dusknoir. And that's gonna put our Scovillain EX in a safe position. They cannot knock it out with any of their Pokemon. So we're just taking damage, and then yeah, we just take out any Pokemon they put in their active. So I'll just put as many energies as I can in play, just in case anything happens. My opponent stalls or something. We can transfer energies, retreat. And we're just gonna Spicy Rage for 220 against this Cleffa. And we get another prize. There it is, another Scovillain EX ready to go. So, my opponent can try to hit for 200. Minus 30 with a Rigid Band. They're only going to be hitting for 170, and then that's more than enough. That's that's more than enough damage we need to take out their Hydreigon EX. But what's this? They have Radiant Alakazam to transfer damage counters. Yeah, I mean, I guess no. Even if they transfer damage, if they hit our Scovillain, we can still win it. Yeah, so now, because we are ahead in the prize trade, the counter gain does take into effect, so it is fully energized. They need to take out Manaphy to get multiple prizes. Wonder if they have Counter Catcher. They could still win this. If they knock out our Manaphy this turn, with limited cards in our hand, there's really nothing we could do. But they just use instant charge. What? What just happened? Well, I'm not exactly sure what happened in that last matchup, but it could have turned out a little bit more differently if my opponent had a boss orders. But Hydreigon EX is very infamous for its Obsidian attack, dealing 130 damage to 3 targets, 1 in the active and 2 on the bench, and they could have gotten the last 2 prizes that way. But thankfully we had Manaphy in our setup, so they couldn't do that. Maybe they missed the boss's orders, but if all they could use was Crushing Headbutt, they could only deal 170 damage to our Scovillain because we had Rigid Band. But even at 170 damage to Scovillain EX, we're still dealing 2,400 damage to one-hit knockout Hydreigon EX. And there you have it, guys. Scovillain EX is super awesome. I highly recommend it. And that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and until next time, please stay safe and have a great day.